I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me at this time as we explore places to go and things to do. Going on a strange exploration today. It's a puzzling exploration. And the reason I use that word is because my guest today is Shortz, who is the Crossword puzzle editor of the New York Times. And we're going to really climb into his mind, into the maze of his mind, and discover what's going on there and how you can be a better puzzle solver. Will, I'm delighted to have you here and to have this opportunity to climb inside your mind. But you've got to answer a question for me that's been bothering me for a long time. Is it true that the puzzles in the Times, the daily puzzles, get harder as the week goes on from Monday to Friday?
Yes.
Or Saturday, I guess, yeah.
It's partly a matter of tradition. The Monday puzzle is the easiest of the week, and it's you'd call it an easy or medium puzzle. And the difficulty progresses through the week up to very hard on Friday and Saturday. The Sunday puzzle is larger, but it's usually at about a Thursday or Friday level of difficulty.
How does one determine the difficulty?
It's partly a matter of the words in the grid. If they're all common words, chances are it's going to be an easier puzzle. If there are a few more difficult words, that could make the puzzle hard. Has a lot to do with the cluing, too. You can clue a word that everyone knows in such a way that to make it hard. For example, if the word oleo, O-L-E-O, is in a puzzle, in a Monday puzzle, you might clue it as margarine. In a Wednesday or Thursday puzzle, it might be clued as item in the dairy aisle at the supermarket. And on a Friday or Saturday, the clue might be stick in the fridge. Or one I used recently was it might be picked up in bars.
That brings to a question that I have is the clues themselves are a very, very important part, not so much the answers. So when a puzzle is made or constructed, as the term goes, are the answers put in first by the constructor and then the clues developed?
Yes. The first thing actually is the theme. If the puzzle has a theme, the constructor has to come up with the examples. And a puzzle grid is symmetrical, which means if you turn the grid upside down, the pattern of black and white squares looks the same as it did right side up. That means if you have an 11-letter theme answer in the upper left portion of the grid, then you have to have an 11-letter theme answer in the same position in the lower right portion of the grid.
Right.
So you place your theme entries first, plot your pattern of black squares around those so that you think you can finish the puzzle, actually construct it. Then you start filling in the crossing words, and you work from the most difficult places first. For example, if you have an entry in which a 4-letter word ending in Q, you better start there because you don't have very many possibilities. And you finish your construction, polish it to the best of your ability, and then write the clues. Those come last.
The clues always come last. How does one become a constructor? Where do they come from? Who are the constructors? I noticed that in the Daily, since you've been the editor at the Times, you've been giving them bylines, which didn't happen in the past. And I appreciate that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, as you know, I have a love-hate relationship with you. I love to do the puzzles. I do the daily first thing in the morning every day. And sometimes, as the week progresses, I don't like you too much.
Well, usually constructors are people who are solvers themselves, and they like puzzles so much that they think, well, let me turn the tables and see what I can do. I had an old friend, Norton Rhodes in Stamford, and he's deceased now, but he was a school teacher. Years ago, he was in the men's room at the school, and he noticed a newspaper lying on the floor open to the crossword puzzle. Unfortunately, the clues had been torn out. All he had was the grid, and so he couldn't solve the puzzle that was there. So he tried to fill in the grid with his own words, and that's how he became a constructor.
I have to tell you an incident that reminds me of my son, who is an avid puzzle solver. One day I was in Boston where he lives, and the puzzle in the Boston Globe had the wrong clues.
Oh, I'm sure they got letters from that.
Well, he solved the problem. He just made his own diagramless puzzle, and he did the puzzle.
Very good.
And because basically that's what it was.
Well, that's how the diagramless crossword was invented. It was back in 1925. The original trio of puzzle editors, Margaret Farrer, Prosper Bernelli, and Gregory Hartswick, had taken a manuscript for their latest book out to a restaurant. And as they were proofreading the puzzles, they found that one of the grids was missing. And Gregory Hartswick had the bright idea, realized that they could solve the puzzle anyway without the grid. And he had it on the napkin at the restaurant. He worked out the pattern of squares and solved the puzzle.
Beyond my ken. It's beyond my abilities. And I know you offered to throw a puzzle at me and the audience, and I said, no thanks. I don't want to look silly on this program. Let's go back to the beginning now. I've read a lot about you. I know that you did your first puzzle when you were 9 years old?
Something like that.
What is it? What is it that makes, and you sold your first one at 14? What is it that makes a person as involved as you are with puzzles? You hold the only degree in what? What's the
subject is enigmatology.
Enigmatology. And you're the only person in the world who has
only person in the world who's ever done it. I don't know. It's just a funny quirk of mine.
How that degree happen?
Well, I had been joking since I was a child. Well, first of all, ever since I was a child, I wanted to make a career of puzzles. And I used to joke with friends, I'll major in puzzles in college. And it's just a joke. Well, I went to Indiana University. And they have a program there called the Individualized Majors Program. And if you're accepted, you can major in absolutely anything you want. And I persuaded the professors there that puzzles were a serious field of academic study and that I wanted to make a career of it. So I developed a whole program of courses in puzzles, such as how to create crossword puzzles, the history of word puzzles, math puzzles, logic puzzles, the psychology of puzzles. I wrote my thesis on the history of American word puzzles before 1860.
Your puzzle life is more than the New York Times. Certainly, you're on every Sunday on NPR.
Right.
And what do you want, 2-3 times on Sunday? I know I heard you more than once during the course of a day.
It depends on the local station. The program is called Weekend Edition Sunday, and it runs initially from 8 to 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. I'm on at 40 minutes past the hour at 8:40. Some stations repeat the program, and which WNYC in New York does, so you can hear me twice.
Yes. Puzzle Master, that's a great title that you have. What do you do on that program for those people who may not have heard it?
I give quick word puzzles to Leanne Hansen, who's the host of the show, and a listener who's connected by phone somewhere around the country. And I give quick word puzzles, and I hope I get quick answers back. At the end of the segment, I give a challenge puzzle for listeners at home. People send in their answers by email or regular mail. One person who gets it right is chosen at random to appear on the next week's program.
And as I say, you do so much more than the Times. You've written 20 books, or is it up above that? Who can keep track of them? Round the corner is another book, I suppose. And you have upcoming in Stamford something that's very interesting, the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament, March 21st to 23rd. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, this is the 20th annual championship. It was an event that I founded in Stamford in 1978. This was when the Marriott Hotel in Stamford was brand new, and the director of marketing was looking for a way to fill hotel rooms in the weekend. And he found out my name as a young puzzle whippersnapper in Stamford, and we had about 150 solvers come that first year. It's a chance for people to find out how good they are solving crosswords. Usually puzzle solving, it's a solitaire activity. You don't know how good your skills are compared with others. So it's a way to find out. And it's also a convention, a way for puzzle people to get together, find out about construction, meet other people who like puzzles.
What takes place during the course of is it a 2-day or 3-day event?
It starts Friday night when we have warm-up games. This year, we have a panel discussion on how to make and sell crossword puzzles. And there'll be 4 noted puzzle makers or constructors talking, and there'll be questions and answers. And then we're going to have a crossword relay with 4-person teams. Everyone will get a puzzle in front of them, and you'll start solving. After 30 seconds, I'll say, pass your paper, and you will pass your puzzle to the person next to you. The first team to finish all 4 of the puzzles in front of them will be the champion.
Now, not everybody who comes is at the same level. Am I correct?
Right. So that's the puzzle relay is a way to equalize everybody. And we also have rules that the best solvers can't all get together on the same team. Anyway, these are warm-up games. The main tournament takes place Saturday morning and afternoon and Sunday morning. There are 8 puzzles that everybody does. You get points for accuracy and speed. And at the end of the weekend, we have one final puzzle on giant boards on stage for the top contestants to solve. It's
Sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of people with like interests, although puzzle solvers have different interests. Certainly the puzzles are so diverse.
Well,
I do want to remind the audience at this point that my guest today is Will Shortz, who's the puzzle editor of the New York Times, also the director of the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament, which will be at the Marriott in Stamford, March 21st to March 23rd. And we're talking about that tournament right now. This might be a good opportunity to give a telephone number where people can call to get more information about the tournament. What is that number?
It is 212. What is it?
I have it here.
212-628-2087. Or anyone can write me at the New York Times, and I'll be happy to send a brochure.
And we'll put that telephone number up in the closing credits, just in case people haven't had that pen in hand at the moment. Let's get into a little more about the other types of things that you do. How does it work? How does your mind work as far as things to do, ways to entertain or torture? I don't know what the right word is, people. What do you do? What else do you do besides crossword puzzles?
I'm interested in any kind of challenge, basically, whether it's a math puzzle, logic, visual, a rebus, an anagram, Jeopardy, jigsaw puzzle. I'm the captain of the U.S. team in the World Puzzle Championship.
What is that?
This is an event that was I started here in the United States in 1992. We had teams from 13 countries from around the world come, 4-person teams, and they would race to solve a series of puzzles that are language and culture neutral. So there were no crosswords or other word puzzles because the team from Japan or Russia, for example, it wouldn't be fair to teams like that.
How do you keep them language and cultural neutral?
Well, they involve numbers, logic. They can be observation puzzles, find the differences. It can be a memory test. Anything that would be a fair challenge, no matter what your language and culture. And this event is held in a different country every year. We've had it in Germany, the Czech Republic. This past year, it was in the Netherlands, and this coming fall, it will be in Croatia. The U.S. team has won the World Championship for the last 2 years. So we will be.
Why?
Why? Because I don't know. We have just a very sharp team.
Just coming back to crosswords, which is of course my great interest. I did bring along the Sunday Times magazine, and I have to admit that I didn't quite finish it, but I came close.
You have almost everything.
Almost everything, and I'm not. I find that when I'm doing a puzzle, I put it aside and come back to it, and the difficulty becomes obvious for some reason. And I've talked to other people who have that same experience, that it evolves suddenly.
Right. I had a history professor in college who compared his mind to a slide projector. And as the carousel goes around, slides drop in and come back out. And when you put the puzzle aside, it's like the carousel goes around a little further, and then another slide drops in, and that's how you're able to perhaps get another answer, and that will open up a whole area for you that you can go ahead and finish.
Is there a better way, or an easier way? Is there a technique for solving puzzles? I do mine in ink. people will look at them and say, how can you do it in ink?
It just means you cross out more.
I do cross out a lot, yeah. I have to. I also color code them. Sometimes when I go back to them, I'll use a different color so that I know the new things that I've added, and that helps. But any tips on how to solve a puzzle?
A few things. First of all, the easiest clues to solve are usually the fill-in-the-blank clues. So if the clue is one blank time, and it's a three-letter answer, you know the answer is at a, one at a time. The fill-in-the-blank clues are easy to spot in the list of clues. There's usually no ambiguity, often no ambiguity in the answer. So fill those in. You've got those answers definite, and then work from the crossings from those. That's what I recommend to new solvers. And the other thing I recommend is if you're a first-time solver and you try the New York Times puzzle, start with the Monday because that's the easiest. And if you can get that under your belt, see how far through the week you can progress.
And also do them in other publications, which aren't as difficult.
Sure.
Sunday. Let's get to the Sunday puzzle. Now, you say that's about a Wednesday, Thursday difficulty, and it's larger.
Thursday and Friday.
Is it also have a more clever theme? Do you find that there's something in there, or is it because of the space that you have?
It's partly a matter of space. Because it's larger, there's more play that can go on. And also the Sunday puzzle has a title, which holds everything together and can give you a clue to what the theme is. You know, if there's some sort of trickery going on, like anagramming or dropping letters, the title of the puzzle can clue you in. On a daily puzzle, there are no titles, so they're a little more restricted on what they can do.
I find that when there's a puzzle that's particularly clever, that I always have to share it with someone and say, look at this, it is so great. Where did this come from? Where did this idea come from?
Right.
Where do you find your constructors, the people who make the puzzles? Are they the same old people doing it over and over again? Is there room for new people?
Both. There are old-timers who go back as far as the 40s and 50s and continue to be regulars in the Times. A.J. Santora is one of those, Francis Hansen. Both of those make very fine puzzles. And then there are newcomers, young whippersnappers in their teens and 20s who just have that knack, that twist of mind. And I'm open to puzzles from everybody.
How does one reach you with the puzzles and puzzle ideas? Do you want to see completed puzzles?
Sure. The first thing to do is to write me at the Times, ask for my specification sheet. That gives the rules and also the format for submissions. And once you have that, then see what you can do.
How much editing do you do?
Quite a bit. Actually, the most important thing I think I do is corresponding with constructors, because I get 8 to 10 crosswords for every one that I can accept. And when I reply to constructors, often I give a personal comment or even a letter on whether I liked, what I liked or didn't like about the puzzle. As far as the editing goes, the first thing I do is maybe revise the grid. Let's say there's a terrific puzzle, but in the corner you've got the Chinese word for wax crossing a 30-mile river in Romania. Well, I don't think those are words that you should have to know. And if they're crossing in the grid, that leaves you with a square that you have no possibility of getting. So I may revise the corner to get rid of that. And then as far as the clues go, I want to make sure they're accurate, right level of difficulty, and if I can think of a twist that will put a smile on your face, then I'll change the clue for that reason.
Talking about putting a smile on one's face, certainly one of the most brilliant puzzles was your Election Day puzzle. And why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Well, that came from a constructor in Indianapolis named Jeremiah Farrell. And you remember this. The middle answer, the clue was lead story in tomorrow's newspaper. And the answer at first looked like Clinton elected, because everyone assumed that he was going to be elected. But the answer could also be Bob Dole elected. Those first 7 squares were ambiguous. For example, in the coming down from the C of Clinton and the B of Bob Dole, the clue was a black Halloween animal. And the answer for that could have been either bat or cat. Either one worked, and each of those other letters worked ambiguously in the same way. Well, my phone rang off the hook at the Times on that day, mostly from solvers who had filled in Clinton elected and thought that I was being presumptuous at the least, and perhaps putting political beliefs into the puzzle. There were also a few solvers who had filled in Bob Dole elected, not seeing Clinton, and thought that we were going to have major egg in our face the next day.
That, to me, was one of the best. Is there any one puzzle that sticks in your mind as being the most brilliant, the most entertaining, the most creative?
Let's see, there are lots. The very first crossword that I edited for the Times had colors in the grid. So Orange Free State crossed Agent Orange, for example, and on that square you were supposed to fill in the color. I
love
orange.
Those single square puzzles. You know, the hard part about those, I'll get back to your favorites in a minute, the hard part about those is understanding that something's going on there.
Right.
And once you understand that, then everything opens up.
Exactly. And if you're solving a puzzle and you have what you're sure is a 7-letter answer, and there are only 4 squares, sit back and think, I wonder if I can, if this is a rebus or a picture involved in this puzzle.
Get back to your favorites.
Well, there are lots of them. There was one in which, by Kathy Milhauser, in which a Sunday puzzle, in which the only vowel in the entire puzzle was E. That was a remarkable construction.
I remember that.
There was a puzzle a year ago from Eric Albert, in which there were 7 stars in the grid. For example, if the answer was startle, you would draw a star in the first square and TLE. Well, there were 7 stars in the grid. The middle answer across the middle of the puzzle was Big Dipper, and the 7 stars in the grid were arranged in the shape of the Big Dipper. That was an amazing construction. And there was one other recent one I have to mention. It was the Inauguration Day puzzle just a few weeks ago, which had puns regarding Bill Clinton and White House names. And, President Clinton is a great crossword puzzle solver. He solves, he told me he solves 7 to 8 crosswords a week, sometimes as many as 3 and 4 a day. And he solved this puzzle. He was crazy about it, and he talked about it in his remarks to the Democratic National Committee the next day.
How come you didn't make the front page with that one? Or maybe you did in some papers. You talk about these clever puzzles. When they cross your desk, does something light up inside you?
Absolutely. I'll look at it if it's a brilliant new theme like these, a brilliant new idea, and then I look for consistency, and then you have to look for the nice construction. But sure, it's exciting to find a brand new idea that's wonderful.
I think what's wonderful is that we could talk endlessly. It's obviously a favorite subject of mine and a favorite subject of yours, and a half hour is hardly enough time to cover all the things. I do want to make sure that we again get across that the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament will be at the Stamford Marriott March 21st to March 23rd, and that the telephone number to call is 212-628-2087. I just want to make sure that people who are really interested, and it sounds like a great place to be, and not expensive from what I've seen, because you can go partially or for the whole thing or whatever you please.
Right.
It's great.
Right.
The future is unlimited for you, really, isn't it? I mean, there's so much to do, and I hate to say that, you kind of own this medium, don't you? I mean, there are very few people who do what you do.
Well, I'm very fortunate. I think of Margaret Farrer, who was the first crossword editor at the Times, said what she loved about crosswords is that they take you into every field of human knowledge, from history to opera to geography to TV and movies, and it's a subject that you never get tired of. And
it's educational. It keeps your mind alert, and it's certainly entertaining, and the challenge is only part of it. Well, I'm so glad that you came here, and I thank you very, very much for coming and sharing this inside look at the brain of a puzzle maker, and thanks again for coming here.
Thanks, Norman.
My guest today is Will Shortz, who is the crossword puzzle editor of the New York Times, a great source of entertainment and education. It's fun to do, no matter how able you are to do puzzles. There are them at every level that you can do them. Enjoy them. And I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. Until next time, enjoy yourself. And that's not a puzzle. And